Learning outcomes. After studying this module, you shall be able to understand the concept of counseling at workplace, understand the attributes and phases of counseling in organizations, understand various roles and responsibilities of a workplace counselor, know about abilities, skills and qualities of a workplace counselor, learn about the different stages of counseling in an organizational setting. Introduction. The modern day workplace has changed with regard to the demands that it has put on its employees in various ways. With fewer job resources available to do the work and the issue of presentism, stress has become a popular global buzzword in academic journals, popular business press, and day to day life. Furthermore, organizational change and developmental programs by the name of right sizing, flattened organizations, and massive redundancy are putting extra strain on employees, leading to various types of emotional and personal problems, mental illnesses, and substance abuse. As reported by Cartwright and Cooper in 1994, approximately 30 to 40% of sickness at workplace is due to some form of emotional stress and mental illness. This has raised the concern of employers, and many of them are now seeking ways to help employees increase their level of physical, emotional, and mental well-being. One such provision is Employee Assistance Program, which includes workplace counseling as one method among others of caring for their workforce. Workplace counseling may be understood as a dynamic collaboration and interplay of relationships between three stakeholders: the organization, the counselor, and the employee. The ultimate purpose of counseling at workplace is to minimize the gap between actual and expected performance of the employees by fixing their problems and enhancing productivity. This module gives an introduction of the concept of workplace counseling. It outlines the characteristic features of counseling and discusses how the field plays an important role in the continuous development and professional growth of employees and organization. Further, it outlines various types of counseling relationships between various stakeholders and enlists many types of roles that a counselor has to play in an organizational setting. It also describes abilities and skills of an effective workplace counselor. Finally, a 5-stage model of workplace counseling is explained that serves as a guide on how to conduct counseling at workplace.
Traditionally, counseling is seen as a form of help that is flexibly oriented to the needs of individual client. It can be understood as a two-way contract between a client and a counselor. Workplace counseling, however, is the dynamics between three participants: organization, employee, and counselor. Generally, the organization pays for counseling provisions for its employees. A counselor can either be a full-time employee of the organization or may be employed as an independent agent by making a contract with the organization. The purpose is to deal effectively with the personal or professional problems, personal professional growth, and work and non-work related issues of workers, managers, administrators, and employers. Many experts also view counseling in workplace settings as a four-way contract involving client, counselor, organization, and counselor's employer, that is EAP provider. Employee Assistance Program EAP provider is another patron in this overall network of relationships who contracts with the organizations and provides counselor. There are two broad ways by which workplace counseling can be understood. The first way comprises the situations where counseling is provided or paid for by the employer, either through in-house internal or externally contracted counseling services. External counseling services are typically described as employee assistance programs, EAPs. The for counseling is generally taken by organization which pays for counseling provisions for the benefit of its employee, and access to therapy is conditional on being an employee of the organization. The second way of workplace counseling comprises of situations in which a person consults a counselor or therapist for work-related problems or personal problems impacting the work. In this, a counselor is generally a private practitioner who works independently and helps people in dealing with issues. Such counselors generally function within a broader scale of social functioning and see work factors as secondary or incidental aspects of therapy. It is to be noted that the academic and scientific writings report workplace counseling majorly from the perspective of first category. Very little research evidence corroborates with the second category. Thus, the majority of text discussed in this module is from the point of view of employer who makes therapy and counseling services available for employees. Workplace counseling encompasses the following main features. First, the primary aim of workplace counseling is to facilitate employees' work. One of the major roles of it is to support the process of employee empowerment and enhancement of the well-being of employees. Second, workplace counseling is not just about dealing with crises and problems of the employee that concerns his work. It also deals with personal issues within the individual that impinge on his work. Third, workplace counseling serves dual purpose. It helps organization to effectively deal with negative aspects of the workplace and at the same time introduces new and positive beliefs into it and provides opportunity for personal growth. Workplace counseling has much to offer managers on how to help employees activate their own unused power and potential, how to be non-directive when needed, facilitative when required, and challenging when perceived to be the best way forward by Carroll in 1996. Contextual factors play an important role in making workplace counseling effective? Counseling services offered to clients and organizations are tailored as per individual person's needs or needs and goals of various parts of the organization within which the person is employed. Workplace counseling differs from other fields of counseling and psychotherapy with respect to the number of sessions that are offered to clients. Most researchers agree that in the organizational context, successful outcomes of counseling services are achieved between 3 to 10 sessions. Instead of remaining adherent to a particular protocol of counseling intervention or therapeutic approach, workplace counselors adopt an eclectic approach in working with the clients. Positive results have been reported using a variety of models of counseling. A counselor working in an organization setting has two clients, the organization and the employees. Thus, the goal of workplace counseling differs from the general counseling models as the counselor has to achieve win-win-win situations for all the three parties. Win for the individual client, win for the client organization, and win for himself. Employee counseling is not a uniform concept that can be understood with a single model applicable in diverse settings. It carries different meanings and has a number of phases, with each phase having its own features. Michael Carroll in 1996 reported 5 approaches of workplace counseling depending on the interface between organization, counselor, EAP provider, and clients or employees. The 5 phases of workplace counseling, as mentioned by Carroll in 1996, are: first, counseling for an organization that employs both counselor and client. Second, counseling for an organization where the counselor is employed by an EAP provider. Third, counseling for an organization where the counselor is employed to work with consumers of the organization. Fourth, counseling for an organization where the counselor is employed to work with members of the public. Fifth, counseling for an organization which provides a range of specialist services like outplacement counseling services, executive search, headhunting, career counseling, etc., to other organizations and individuals within organizations. The relationship of a counselor with the clients or employee and organization may also vary depending upon the situation. A counselor may work independently of organization, serving the client or employee alone. He or she holds responsibility for the concerned employee and his work or non-work related problems with no contact with organization to which the client belongs to. In other words, a counselor may also work as a collaborator with the organization, performing the role of a perpetuator who ensures that the employees are working productively for organizational benefit and welfare. Counselors also perform the role of a mediator or arbitrator between employee and organization, in which the primary duty is to mediate and serve the needs of both the parties. In some scenarios, a counselor may also have to work against the organization to serve the regime of the client or employee. This generally occurs in power organizations where both counselor and employee suffer from repression and abuse from the management. It is important for counselors to define their role with client and organization before engaging into the counseling work. The needs of organization and the client should also be determined in advance to clarify their intervention strategies. A counselor in workplace setting performs multiple roles. It is rare that employee counselors have one single role with clients. Instead, they are engaged in diverse roles within the organization depending on the context and requirement. Gerstein and Schulman in 1992 have identified 18 roles for the counseling psychologist in industry. Toomer in 1982 has reported 9 different roles for a workplace counselor. Many types of roles that a counselor serves in an organization include: first, counselors; second, trainers; third, welfare officers; fourth, information provider; fifth, advocates; sixth, consultants; seventh, personal advisor; eighth, organizational change agents; ninth, policy matter experts; 10th, managers; 11th, mediators between client and organization; 12th, research officer. As more and more organizations are reaping benefits of counseling, the demand for well qualified and trained workplace counselors and practitioners is increasing worldwide. Presently, a handful of professionals are available in the field who have the wide range of skills necessary to help organizations. What is required is a new breed of professionals who not only possess counseling skills but also understand organizational behavior. Establishment and maintenance of counseling provisions, whether in-house or external, require a careful planning on the part of organization. A step-by-step guide on how to set up counseling service in the workplace needs to be prepared. Carroll in 1996 offered five-stage model of establishing, maintaining and terminating a counseling relationship with an employee in an organizational setting. The five-stage model that serves as a map to guide counselors is: first, preparation for counseling; second, stage of assessment; third, contracting or referring; fourth, engaging in counseling; and fifth, terminating counseling relationship. Stage 1, preparation for counseling. Both counselor and client agree to enter in the relationship of counseling. In this stage, counselors prepare for counseling work and employees prepare for counseling. Stage 2, stage of assessment. Understanding clients and their issues, agreeing counseling along with assessment, using multiple methods of assessment to know the client, considering interventions, sharing of information. Stage 3, contracting or referring. Agreeing to work together, contracting on practicalities, defining roles of all three stakeholders, that is, client, counselor, and organization, referring if needed and appropriate. Stage 4, engaging in counseling. Managing the personal, administrative, and organizational sides of counseling. Stage 5, terminating counseling relationship. Agreeing a termination date, working towards termination, conducting final session, and after termination evaluation.
Summary. Workplace counseling plays an important role in solving workplace problems. The purpose is to effectively deal with the personal or professional problems, personal or professional growth, and work and non-work related issues of workers, managers, administrators, and employers. In majority of cases, initiation for counseling is taken by organization which pays for the counseling provisions for the benefits of its employees. The primary aim of workplace counseling is to facilitate employees' work. One of the major roles of it is to support the process of employee empowerment and enhancement of the well-being of employees. Contextual factors play an important role in making workplace counseling effective. Counseling services offered to clients and organizations are tailored as per individual person's needs or needs and goals of various parts of the organization within which the person is employed. Michael Carroll, 1996, has reported 5 different approaches of workplace counseling depending on the interface between organization, counselor, EAP provider and the clients. A counselor in workplace setting performs multiple roles like advocates, consultants, counselors, welfare officer, advisor, mediators, change agents, etc. A counselor should have essential skills and abilities to handle the pressure of both employees as well as the organization. He needs to demonstrate skills of understanding the employing organization, its structure, policies, personnel, and current stresses. 5 stages of workplace counseling given by Carroll are: preparation for counseling, stage of assessment, contracting and referring, engaging in counseling, and termination of counseling relationship.